Hello, how you doing? Sorry for my little lateness. I was running a little bit late with clients, but I'm here. And today we're going to do my Akashic Records. Now, I'm going to keep it a little general when I do my reading because I have been told by various people that you shouldn't just tell everything to everyone. Yeah. Now, I was contemplating this because I wanted to do my Akashic Records a while back, and I was told by my reader. So, if you need an Akashic Record reader, I know someone who's really good. But basically, I was told by my psychic friend and my reader that you shouldn't give all your information away because people can use it against you. You have to be very careful, especially with your union stuff, what you share, what you don't share. I mean, this morning though, when I woke up and I was like, I don't actually believe in fear and fear mongering, um, and I should just go ahead and do it all. But then I kind of reflected and I thought, you know what? There's no harm in keeping it general themes. So we don't have to go into the details, nitty gritty, which is more private to me and my twin, right? And I don't know if you know, but like I had a video where I did my astrology reading, and when I did that, um, the lovely lady Ida was able to look at the astrology reading from both sides, yeah, from my side and my twins when we met, and talk about loads of different things. And I took that video down afterwards because I was told again by my psychic friend and other like twin flame readers, etc., that you shouldn't have all your stuff, your astrology, out in public. So today, when we talk about the Akashic Records, I will keep it more general, but I will also make it more relevant to you in the sense of how it can help you and benefit you. Yes, my Akashic Record reading helped me understand why certain things are happening the way they are right now. But was it the most important thing for me on my healing journey? I'd say no. I'd say you can do without it. So if I'm being honest with you, you don't have to have a reading done. It can help you understand, but didn't necessarily add anything further. But I understood why my twin was behaving a certain way and what gifts we had and what our abilities were, and things just clicked into place more. So we'll go into that, but more general because you're going to have to respect the privacy element. But before we continue, I wanted to see how you all doing because I've had various divine feminines saying, "Oh, May is so tough, man. It's so difficult. He is triggering me, the asshole," which is what their purpose is, right? And we trigger them too. So, what is going on for you? You know. And at the end of this live, you can ask any questions today. I'm going to allow you to ask any questions you want, as long as they're respectful. But basically, a lot of divine feminines are going through a lot. Why? Right? Am I going through a lot? No, I am happy, dappy, wonderful, blissful, enjoying life. Some of us are not going through that stuff. So if you've done your work and if you're ahead of the game, you don't get triggered and you don't get blasted by the universe or your twin. You're actually in good place. If you're in 0 point, you're in place of peace and love and bliss. It's wonderful. Come join us. Manifestations and joy. Great. You know, when I hear these things about, oh, we're all going through, I'm not. And I haven't gone through really bad stuff for over a year maybe or something. Can't remember. It's been a long time. Okay. But that's where your inner work pays off. But then I have some divine friends saying, Manny, I'm doing loads of inner work, some of them are, okay? But what is missing from my perspective is the purpose. The purpose is missing, and therefore you are not fully doing your stuff. You're focused still on the divine masculine. You want to be busy. Busy not in distraction, but busy in joy, okay? So let me give you an example. I have a full-time job, believe it or not. I work 5 working days, but condensed in 4 working days. I work 4-day working week. And then I also go to the gym 5 times a week and once a week go swimming. Yeah. And then I have family, I have friends. My sister's giving birth to a baby, so I'm like involved in that too. And then I have clients one-to-one, group. Then I have my online courses. I make videos. I do posts. You know, I'm busy. I'm very busy. Do you think I have time sitting here thinking constantly about my divine masculine? No, I don't. I actually don't, you know? So, but do I find any of the things I do like tiresome and draining? No, I love it. I forgot to mention, I do these lives, but I also do interviews every Saturday, right? So can you imagine my schedule? It is hectic. And you want to be hectic too, but in a good way. So when I interview people or I have clients, like I said, I was a little bit late now because I have clients. I love it. Love it. Love doing the Instagram posts. Love doing all those things, Enjoy it. Don't do it out of pain. Don't do it out of desperation. Not doing it because also that's how I'm going to get union. I know that's the way as well, the purpose. I was told very early on from my Akashic record reader and also my psychic that I had to do what my twin was doing, but in divine, in its divine form. My twin was doing a lot of social media in distortion, right? So I had to correct that. I had to do a lot of stuff to counteract that to bring him into the right way, in the sense. So from what I'm noticing is the divine feminines that are going through a lot, it's because you haven't done enough work and you still got a little bit of work to do. It's okay. But if it's going on and on for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, then something's going wrong here. You need to get help and support. You can do stuff alone, but it's sometimes easier to have someone else. I spent a lot of money on doing my inner work, having people and a team supporting me. So with me, I have the Inner Union course. If you want to do that, I do coaching, one-to-one group, book sessions, do what you need to do, but also do your purpose. A lot of divine feminines that I'm listening to and talking to, not doing their purpose. Then it's like, I don't know what my purpose is. I'm confused. I'm lost. I'm broke. I'm this and that. And it's just a lot of that story. The other story, which is not helping you. So I think that's one thing that's kind of like perhaps keeping you in the loops, keeping you addicted, obsessed, and also not keeping you going forwards is the lack of purpose. Because all that energy has to be put into something good. Okay? So you can ask any questions that you have, you can put it in the chat, and at the end I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability. But for now, we're going to do an Akashic record reading, my one, which was done very early on in my journey. And if you want to have the same reader, she's lovely, you can DM me, okay? But I'm going to give you more of a general reading because I've been told not to tell everything because it's not great for the union, okay? And not great for the other twin or whatever. So when I did my Akashic record, it was unusual. She said she never seen anything like it. She said we had a huge purpose, which I've heard many times, and that we were here to do a lot of good, and that we were going to be quite well known. And she also said there was something, you tend to come from different, I didn't know much about Akashic records when I got it done, but she says you tend to come from one realm or something like that. But me and my twin came from two realms, which is very unusual. And the first realm was the manifestation realm, which means that people who come from that realm find it really easy to manifest things. And the manifestation is to do with money and abundance, but it's also to do with sexuality and physical body. And the reason why we manifest from our sexual organs, actually, a lot of that energy, the Kundalini energy, the creative energy, and all that kind of stuff is actually more centered there. So people who tend to have high manifestation abilities tend to have high sexual energy. Now, in divinity, that's expressed with just your twin, but in distortion, that's when all the stuff happens. So people who come from the manifestation realm tend to have a lot of sexual partners. And I'm not going to be Mother Teresa and a saint sitting on in a convent and say, I was celibate the day I was, my whole life. No, I slept around a lot. Okay. I've had a lot of partners. Okay. And not only in relationships, open relationships, and I've talked about that too, which now I wouldn't do, but also just banged around a lot before my twin. And then after the twin, it's kind of stopped. It did stop, really. But yes, so the people who come from the manifestation realm tend to be very much about their body. And from my twin, all the stuff he was doing makes sense now. But we'll go more into detail why he did what he did as well. Because people who tend to do that kind of stuff tend to have really big traumas in childhood, which he did have. Okay, so the second realm we come from is the communication realm. So the communication realm tend to be people who are very comfortable talking and communicating, either expressing. Now my twin does social media, I do social media, it makes sense, right? So basically that's your natural tendency to be able to express that, especially when you do it in a divine way, but my twin was doing it in a very dysfunctional way. Okay. And basically when your twin is showing a lot of distortions, it's your task to understand within yourself where that is coming from, where is it being expressed from, in a dysfunctional way. So you can heal it, but also for you to have compassion and patience to understand that this person is going through a lot. My expectations of my forcing and my own issues, thinking for myself what I want, is kind of not compassionate to what they're going through, because they're going through a lot too. Okay. So there you go. And that's why having that unconditional love for your twin, when they're going through all these things and they're expressing those things, the distortions, is what's going to help them get through it. Now, I remember when this person used to say to me, my Akashic reader, used to say to me, have compassion for him. And I was like, I can't have compassion for him. I hate him. He's naked. And she would say to me, at least he's trying, because he'll try all the campaigns, the naked underwear campaigns, underwater campaigns, whatever the hell campaigns he was doing. Because first he used to do it in his bedroom with the underwear stuff, and then he started doing it outside. It didn't work out, but still, at least the person was trying. So with your twin, if they're in a third party situation, if they're there, they're still going to have their asses whooped by that situation, because they're doing it from trauma and distortion. But would you rather your twin was just sitting at home with the curtains closed, depressed, talking to no one, or they're at least going out doing things, even if it's with a karmic, or even if it's with like negative stuff like drugs and alcohol? At least they're purging themselves, and through those interactions, healing. They will be healing, so in this situation, your twin, well, my twin especially, but in this situation, when they are distorted, they're not feeling their emotions. They're numbing out, they're getting high from doing all the other things with other people, or whatever else they're doing. Okay, so having that compassion is a big thing, which takes a while. I mean, I only started getting that compassion this year. To be honest, before that, I was like, you know what I mean? Okay. So the DMs try to forget their true feelings. They try to numb out. It's too much. They feel unworthy. They feel worthless. They feel overwhelmed. They feel almost crazy, and they have to run. They feel like they have to run. Okay. So what we have to do as DFs is keep going deeper and deeper to heal that trauma. And it's somewhere where they're not feeling and they're suppressing. Now, I remember when I used to be doing my inner work, I'm like, how much inner work do you need to do? Like, literally, I'll be meditating, doing inner self-love for like 10, 12 hours a day, thinking, how much more? Like, the man ain't changing. And they don't change straight away. The reaction, the mirror, sometimes there's a delay. Sometimes there's a little bit of their free will, the 90% of navigation before they're blasted into alignment. So there is that element of, you won't always see the results of it straight away. So don't give up. Don't give up, because they change. My one changed, okay? So basically, they express those traumas, but in a contrasting, distorted, opposite way. Now, for some twin flames, imagine a clock, right? So me and my twin would have been 12 and 6. So basically, we are completely oppositely polarized. And there's like, I'm going to do a live or a post about the weaving and why some people have more of it and some people have complete blocks and stuff, and they don't talk for years. But anyway, for us, it was complete distortions, and then it would change. This way is better. Complete distortions, and then it will come up. But some people have on the clock, it's like I don't know, you'd say 12 and 10, and it's less distortions, and then therefore there's less triggering, but it might take longer, it might not take longer. So the distortions are less obvious and less painful, but some of us have more. Okay. So people who come from the manifestation realm tend to be good with money, especially when they're in their divine aspects. When they're in distortion, like my twin, the money's not really there, okay? So basically, you awaken that ability of abundance, of manifestation in others. And when you're using your sexuality in a functional way, it's between just you two, the twin flames, okay? You're not actually got eyes for each other people, only for each other, no other people involved, okay? People who come from the manifestation realm tend to be very much about their body. So both me and my twin work out. We take care of ourselves. We make sure that we look good, feel good, and all that kind of stuff. And also, that's not just to do with your sexuality, your body. It's also to do with how your energy is when you come into a room. People feel your energy as you come into a room, and they feel safe and they feel relaxed, and their nervous system calms down, okay? You have a big impact. So anything 3D as well, materialistic, 3D, physical world, you enjoy it. People who come from manifestation realm love touching, feeling, having things, having that abundance, having that money, all that stuff. You believe it and you can get it from that realm, okay? So I believe a lot of people who are into the manifesting and law of attraction, Abraham Hicks, I think a lot of them come from the manifestation realm, okay? So basically, you show that you show the world that you can have what you want and do what you want. And you don't. So yeah, when your twin flame is showing distortions, when they are showing all the traumas, don't hold on to what they're doing and expressing. I know it's hard because they are not their distortions, okay? They are divine or within that, but it's just trauma playing out. Go deeper into the trauma that is guiding them to numb out and connect with that aspect. Often the DMs will numb out with drugs and other people and whatever else, work and gym and stuff like that. So you have to think about, where are you numbing out? And you might be like, I don't do any of that stuff. But maybe you're numbing out by avoiding your healing or your purpose, or you're over stressing, you're over worried about what's going on. I certainly was very worried about my twin, and therefore that anxiety was there. And he had anxiety, so he used the weed to cope with it, you know? So you have to get to the root of it and calm down. And then once you've healed that, or you've aligned to that, then you're not stressing and anxious, and then they stop doing the numbing out with the substances. Okay? So tap into that and do your work by loving yourself. So divine manifestation. That's people who come from the manifestation realm. That's that ability to manifest divinely is in your body, and you give that energy to others. The codes you share, right? So, and your sexuality is completely expressed with your twin flame in harmony. And as you get closer with healing and union, you'll see that. In manifestation, energy is very active in your sacral chakra, like I said, so you will attract many partners. The actual energy, the creative, the finance will be there too. So some of you might have that as well. Some of your twins, and some of you who are really into manifesting, maybe you notice that that is the case, like I explained. And basically, if it's unhealed, you're going to be basically having loads of blocks with that, and it's going to be masking, and it's going to be not expressed in a divine, authentic way. So in this situation, your twin, if they're very distorted, if it's like the 6 and the 12 on the clock, they'll have like deep traumas. So have compassion, you know. For people of the communication realm, it's all about self-expression, authenticity. You're very deep with your language expression. You can share. If it's combined together like ours is, you can share and talk how to manifest. You can teach this. So it was also me and my twin will work together, she said. And then she talked about soul group. So the planet we come from is Mintaka. So I always thought we came from, I always thought I came from the Orion star system. I had a strong relationship with that, and I felt like we were from, I was from Octorius, with the Octorians, but we're from Mintaka, okay? So we love the water, love the emotions, again, sacral energy. Me and my twin both love the beach and the sun, etc. And basically, it doesn't necessarily mean they will understand this, but they will be gravitated to those sort of locations. And my twin is definitely loving the beach and the ocean and stuff like that. But people who come from Mintaka, they don't understand like negative choices. They're very, very innocent, okay? And if someone says something to them, they're like, yes. So my twin will like blindly like, oh, OnlyFans, oh sure, why not? Or drugs, why not? Yeah, everyone's lovely, everyone's great. They don't have the ability to be discerning, yeah? Whereas I learned that from my mother, how to discern and be like, that's not what I want. Whereas people from Mintaka tend to be quite innocent. They don't understand why people fight and have wars and do negative things and negative choices. They tend to be very positive people, which is quite nice actually, because despite going through a lot of stuff, like me and my twin always tend to be quite positive and always tend to focus on the bright side of life and show up in a good way. We always have that ability. So we see positive in everything, people from Mintaka, and very happy with the world and happy with themselves, feel positive and always drawn to that good energy. Like usually tend to be quite high vibey people. So they don't really they don't understand why people do negative things or negative influences, but they're also blinded by it when someone's trying to take advantage, unless they have the discernment. So if you're twin and you are from Mintaka, you'll notice that your twin's quite gullible, quite susceptible, quite easily swayed by other people, by karmics, friends, etc. And that's what my twin was doing. But so basically they have to learn how to see that not everyone has the right and true intention for you, and you might get hurt. So like, for example, that sort of twin, if you have that, will let anyone in. They don't really know, like everything's fun, happy, joyful, without knowing the intentions. But as they come closer to you and they get closer to your positive vibration of love, and they'll understand that what is right, what is wrong, how to be discerning, and how that their sexual energy is best with you, not wasted and given to others, because it depletes you. But with your twin, when you're expressing it together, it actually stays in the union and it stays with you, okay? So it's best expressed with you, and multiple partners and people don't fulfill them. So it takes time for that. So that's if you're from Mintaka as well. So at the core level, they want that. But at the mind level, they don't realize. And they don't realize it because there's too much trauma, there's too much ego, there's too much fear, there's too much running. Okay? But they do get all the signs, they do get all the synchronicities, but they're just oblivious to it. They're too distracted, they're too chaotic to be centered to see it and understand it, but eventually they do. So people who come from Mintaka are heavily invested in other people's positivity and want them to grow. Okay? So as you've seen, we come from manifestation, communication, and we want to do good in the world. So it all ties up with what we're doing here. And the reason why the separation and distance is because of the choices we've made so far, and you can understand and heal them. And then in my Akashic Records, she talked about soul vibration. So that tells you like where your consciousness is right now, and whether you will get a union and stuff like that as well. So basically, when you meet your twin flame, you would have crossed over ego consciousness. Your heart chakra would have opened. So the soul vibration for twins would always be that level where you've crossed the ego consciousness, you have a deep self-knowledge and understanding of the universe, and you're ready to go to the next level. Now, your twin might not be there, but at least one of you will be, and then they will be moved along. Or they might not be there consciously, but unconsciously they are. So that's when you get to a place where you want to take more responsibility and understanding how you create your experience on Earth and how you grow as a soul. You're claiming your power back, you're grounding the knowledge to the divine truth, and you're working to succeed. You're basically going towards your soul now. So have sensitivity and boundaries, and you're not like distracted by the world or diluted by the world. You're really on your purpose of ascension. Yeah, and that's when you meet your twin. That's when you manifest a life of spirituality and ascension and harmony. Yeah, and she said also that basically you're helping people to understand their divinity and giving back to the world. And you can keep going deeper and deeper into that to raise your consciousness. And as you do so, your twin's consciousness will also raise. Okay, so I will answer some questions hopefully at the end. And then she kept saying surrender into union and being together with him and the love that you share. And then she talked about protection. She called it sphere of protection, which is like an energetic bubble that's around you. And she could tell where it was. And she said it was 0 at birth, and that my past life was quite negative. And she said I actually started off this life in negative karma, and I've really done a lot of work to get to that place of, which is a lot of work, to get to that place of opening the heart chakra and meeting my twin. Because I did a lot of spiritual work before meeting him. She talks about my birthmark. I'm not going to go into everything in detail because you shouldn't share all of your Akashics with everybody. But she talks about birthmarks. She talks about connecting with God and manifestations, about going deeper, loving yourself, growing your consciousness. As good progress has been made so far. Keep going deeper. She said that the sphere of protection for all twins needs to be very strong so that you don't get harmed by other people. So you have to keep going deeper in your divinity and your ascension work to be able to get that. She says you're close to having it fully there. She also said you're close to union as well. Just keep making the right choices, keep going deeper. Yeah. And then she talked about other chakras and stuff. So she talked about the heart chakra. When your heart chakra opens is when you manifest your twin. And then you're on track to gain the knowledge of the universe within you. And then she talked about the 6th chakra, which is your throat, which is not activated yet. That's where the communication blocks were there. But when you meet, all of your chakras with your twin do open, but they don't stay open. They don't sustain, right? Because you have blocks and you have to clear them. She said their DM's heart is open, and that's why you see them trying to be happy. Well, my twin was trying to be happy, right? Live that happy life and go back to that life. So the heart chakras are open. It's just fears that get in the way. So, but she did say this, that the twins, the DMs, need to understand what is deluded happiness or distorted happiness, what they think is happiness, and what is true soulful happiness. Because true joy is when you're with your twin and when you're doing your purpose and you're aligned to your divinity. But distorted and deluded happiness is the karmics and that other fake 3D life, okay? Which is not sustainable, and It's a temporary high, and you will notice with all your DMs when they're doing the drug, sex, and rock and roll, when they're doing the karmics, all of their lives come crashing down. It does come crashing down because it's not true. And then she talks about spirit guides as well. So basically, we have 5 spirit guides. Normally, people have 4. And basically, she also looks whether there's any negative entities or beings that are kind of attacking you or around there, and that you can connect with your spirit guides and talk to them and understand and engage, especially if your twin flame's quite distorted, dysfunctional. And when you have 5 spirit guides, you're ready to do your life purpose. And I think a lot of us twin flames are there anyway. Enlightened masters have 7, so when you ascend, you'll gain. Most of humans have like 4, but so as you ascend more and more, you'll get another spirit guide with you, okay? And you have the same number of spirit guides as your twin has, and they will work with both of you, so it's best to speak to them, and they will help you out. So that's quite interesting. You do create your own experience, but your guides are there. They are there to not to protect you, as you're not a victim, and there's no fear, right? But they're here to just co-create and help you and guide you and help you to, get into your power, basically. And they will help guide you step by step what you need to act on, what you need to do. You're already protected. Keep walking on the path. Feel safe, grounded with the divine, and also believe that your twin is as well safely protected, So you don't need to get into doubts and fears because you are with your guides. Your guides are there with you. It's not about how am I going to do this. They're there for you, okay? Claim your power back. See yourself as a boss. You are already boss. Take the action steps. Okay, we're kind of halfway in the reading. Right, and then she talked about core blocks. So what are the blocks that are there? So she says, everyone is spiritual. The divine masculine is also spiritual. If they steer away from the path, they get put back on it, I think. You can see. They will return. So basically, you just have to have faith and see, where are they doing these things? What's the emotion behind what they're doing, the addictive stuff, Because what they're doing, it's not what they're doing, it's what is making them do that, their feelings and their reactions, okay? Stay with that and heal it and love it. So she talks about blocks like negative choices or misalignments in your divine print. So she talked about the worry. She talked about persecution in past lives. She talked about holding on to like low self-worth and addictive behaviors that we were both sharing. And worry gets you away from God. Persecution like from childhood or past lives and survival and various triggers. But she also talked about like past life karma that's unjustified. So basically, she said, in a past life, I did something where my soul judged itself, because God doesn't judge you, and held on to that judgment. So in this lifetime, I came as gay, which is a reaction to that judgment, being judged by other people. And my twin was doing a lot of activity which was distorted, which I was judging. So he was triggering judgment out of my system. So that was really interesting to understand. But she says, don't overanalyze, stay in union, forgive them, and don't have judgment towards your twin. I had a lot of judgment towards him, actually. And then she talks about certain portals, which are like gifts or energetic doors. So we astrals, I do astral travel, so does my twin. The dreams are very big for us. The subconscious, understanding that. And then what else? Challenges that kind of stop you, like boundaries you need to have. An element of like escapism, like wanting freedom because you don't feel free. And that my twin was doing that as well, like activities or things to like get out of this restrictive feeling, but we are all free as we are anyway. So yeah, she also mentioned stuff about if you want to check the social media, do so. Like, don't stop yourself, but stay in 0 point and do it from a place of self-love, okay? Not punishment, not to control yourself. Do it with your heart always. Focus on your heart. And then she talked about disciplines. So there was like the judgment and learning to relax. But then she talked about vows. So apparently some of us might take vows in past life, and I've had loads of past lives as monks and nuns. So I took obedient and sacrifice vows when I was in monasteries, and that hinders you to sacrifice yourself, your divinity, your purpose, your joy, to be obedient, to get rid of all of that, to be in a place of unconditional love. because you don't need to sacrifice yourself for your mission. You don't need to sacrifice yourself for your twin. So like I said, I'm very busy. I do a lot of things. I'm in my purpose, but I love it, you know, and there are a lot of reasons why DFs are not progressing is because they're not doing that. They're not in their love. So unconditional love for yourself, relax, enjoy, and keep working on yourself. So that's like more of a general reading I've given you. I didn't go into the too much nitty-gritties of the Akashic Records, but did it help me understand? Yes. Did it help me really truly do my work? No. So it can help you to an extent, but is it necessary? Not really. More necessary to do your inner work and not judge and love. So it can help you gain insights into that, why your twin is behaving a certain way, what gifts you have, how many guides you have, etc., etc. So if you want a reading with this person, you can DM me. And now I'm going to answer some questions. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, wonderful. Right. So how is everyone doing? Because I know a lot of you are going through a lot. And that's perhaps because there's still work to be done and because you're not doing your purpose work. Okay, so someone said, thank you, Gracie. Thank you. Bagashi, so happy to be joining here after a long time. I missed most of your live sessions. Oh, bless you. They're all recorded, so that's good. Do our twins stop sleeping around too? Yes, they do. Because he told me he changed since I met him. He doesn't sleep around anymore like before. They stop everything. They do. They empty themselves and they realize it's just pointless. May I ask you how long are you on journey? 2.5 years. Do they get the same signs during separation? Yes, they'll get, I don't know if they get the exact same signs or synchronicities, but they do get them. They'll get dreams as well, which are more linked to resonate with them, okay? So for example, if I have a dream of my daughter, he may have a dream but in a different way. It might not be the exact same dream, but he'll get the message. The message will be what he needs, the message that he needs, because each of you are on your own curriculum. Okay, you're starting at different points, you're working at different things, so they'll get signs and synchronicities according to that. Whether they register it in the beginning is they usually don't because the ego's too big. Okay, they're too distracted. So I had someone open my Akashic Records and she was telling me about my spirit guides and that someone in my bloodline was a spiritual medicine lady, but I asked my family and we didn't have anybody. Maybe it's really far back, I don't know. In our bloodline, who was a medicine lady that could be coming from her bloodline? I have no idea, but if they were someone who is a good Akashic Record reader, I'm sure there's someone there. Can we release ourselves from vows that don't serve us? Of course you can. So we hold on to things, like I've explained. We hold on to trauma and karma, lifetime after lifetime, like I held on to judgment, all these vows from monasteries. You love yourself and you forgive yourself. And you say, I don't need to. If there's a pattern in you where you're always obedient, always sacrificing, always judging, let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Hello from Toronto. Hello, hope the weather's good. Can we connect to our monadic souls where we are one with our twin already to upgrade to higher frequency? Yes, so through deep meditation, through working on your self, maybe with plant medicine or however it is, you can connect. Or you can work with people who help you connect. So your oversoul or monadic, right to the top, there's abilities to do so. But you are one already and you can feel that within your heart. Okay? What else? Do you have an understanding of lives in Atlantis, Lemuria, and Avalon? Yes. So when I met my twin the first time, I saw that we had a past life in ancient Egypt, which would have been Atlantis. And then I also, when I went to Hawaii, I felt past life as a Lemurian there. So yes, I have understandings. But a lot of my lives, apart from those, are in other planets. So I see myself in a lot of lives being like a monk or a nun, actually. Okay. This week has been a bit rough, but trying to stay neutral. Mother wound with me and my twin is coming up to trigger us. Yes. So right now it's the Scorpio moon, and so a lot of stuff will be coming up. If you have residual things need healing, then they will come up. What is in the case when the DM is spiritual? I never heard that around on social media. So sometimes the DM is spiritual, but they will never be as spiritual as the DF fully. Okay, so often some of them can be religious. It's very matrix related, very fear-based, very based upon the current reality. And they'll still, because if they were truly liberated spiritually, they so would you be, but they wouldn't be afraid and they wouldn't run. Okay, but some have done work in past lives, as have you. So this lifetime, there's less karma there will no karma. So you get into union quite quickly. So in that case, the DM will be spiritual. They will be spiritual. So in short, as we conclude, Akashic Records can help you with some information and understanding. Is it necessary for healing and your journey? No. Is it interesting? For sure. DFs currently, some of them are going through quite a lot. Yes, because there's still healing for some people to do. But once you've done a lot of your healing and work and you're aligned, you're having a great time. Myself and the other DFs, great time. You're not getting affected at all. The lack that is happening with quite a lot of DFs is you're not doing your purpose. And therefore, your energy is still focused on DM. So there you go. Right. I hope you have a lovely week, enjoying the weather and the sun wherever you are, and keep doing your inner child self-love work. And like I've said, if you want more support and guidance, don't suffer alone, because otherwise it takes longer. I have an inner union course. I have my one-to-one and group coaching. You can reach out. I had a team. I had an inner child self-love coach just working on self-love for 1 year, like once a week. Yeah, self-love. I worked with a coach. Then I had various healers, and obviously I've done a lot of plant medicine, lots of shamans. I had my psychic mentor and coach. I had a lot. I had a lot of people helping me because I just didn't want to suffer. So don't suffer. Don't suffer. Don't suffer. Thank you, everyone. Have a great time. Someone said, okay, Pooja says, I've had some movement last week. He said, just like you get dreams, I see things too, but not in dreams, but I still don't want it. I froze and I didn't ask much. I'm happy he admitted. They get it all. They get it all, and they resist it until they can no longer resist. Just let them get on with it. All right, have a good week and take care.